Hello out there, fellow YouTubians. Here I am for what I hope is the fifth and last take of the second Intermediate Yiddish class. It's been taking me forever because I keep getting hung up on the same point. And this time I hope I have it sufficiently marked out that I won't get hung up on it. So, here we go, talking more about the history of the town of Lubavitcher in Bielorussia. Okay, Chotz Lubavitch hat angeheben figurieren, even though Lubavitch began to figure in der Geschichte und der Entwicklung, even in the history and the development von Chabad, the Hasidic philosophy called Chabad, erst mit dem zweiten der Rebbeim, first with the second generation of Rebbes, von der Schneerson Geza, of the Schneerson dynasty, is aber charakteristisch, it is however characteristic, was die Stadt spielt a role, that just this town played a role in der same Anstehung, in the very formation von Chabad, of Chabad und Efshar, and possibly von dem ganze Hasidus, and possibly in the entire Hasidic movement. Und Take noch a Sach früher, and really a good deal previously, damals wenn Nistorim, at the time that Nistorim, that's Balim, Kubalim, and Sadikim, the Kabbalists and holy men von verschiedenen Minim of various types und Richtungen and righteousnesses haben gewirkt in jüdischen Leben, were at work in the Jewish life, und zugegreit dem Weg, and prepared the way for the Baal Shem Tov HaKodesh, for the holy Baal Shem Tov, which is what you call Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem, who was not the very first Baal Shem, or master of the name, but the most famous one, because he took the hidden mystical movement that had existed from generation to generation, going back possibly to the time of the Talmud, and made it a revealed movement called the Hasidic movement. It was about 50 years after the uprising in the Ukraine by Bogdan Khmelnytsky, the Cossack rebellion, which destroyed Jewish life in Poland, Lithuania, the Ukraine, and Ruthenia, which were called the Four Lands, which used to have a internal Jewish government, which raised taxes and paid them also to the Polish overlords, and made life very prosperous for Jews in this area, which was then a united kingdom. The Cossacks went through there and destroyed the Polish Empire, and then attached themselves to the Tsar and made a Russian Empire that included Lithuania. So instead of, included the Ukraine. So instead of being oppressed by the Poles, the Ukrainians were oppressed by the Tsar. Anyway, Jewish communities throughout the Four Lands were destroyed and without resources and in terrible poverty and ignorance because of the Cossack uprising. So 50 years later, the mystic movement, rather than working quietly behind the scenes, went public. And under the auspices of its then leader, Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem. Lubavitch, I'm sorry, I missed a paragraph. Nit umzist, not without reason, is Lubavitch bestimmt geworden, was Lubavitch destined zu spielen als a wichtige Rolle, to play such an important role. Früher in dem Leben von den verborgenen Tzadikim, previously in the life of the hidden Tzadikim und Baalei Mekubalim and mystics, und später in dem Leben von den Chabadischen Rebbeim, and later in the life of the Chabad Rebbes und Hasidim and Hasidim. Lubavitcher zu lib ihr azoi gerufene geographische Position. Lubavitch is, for its sake, for that purpose, the so-called geographic position given a passig Platz. Its geographical position was a fitting place for Menschen von hohen Geist, for people of a high spirit, sich dort abzusondern, to separate themselves there von der dreußigender Welt, dreußendicker Welt, from the outside world, und sich im Ganzen abgeben, and to give themselves entirely up mit Torah und Avodah, with Torah and divine service of prayer, or just dort anfangen a neues Leben, or just to begin a new life, basiert auf die höchste und reinste ethische Prinzipien, based on the highest and purest ethical principles von der Torah, of the Torah. Lubavitch, welche gefindt sich in Moliver Gubernia, Lubavitch, which is situated in the Moliver County, früher in dem Lubavitcher Uyezd, and previously to that in what was called the Lubavitcher district, when they subdivided the country by districts, und nachher in dem Orscher's Uyezd, and then in the Orsha district by dem Teich Dnieper, by the Dnieper River. In Weiss-Russland, in Belarusia, or literally you can translate it as White Russia, which it's sometimes called, but lately it's popular to call it Belarus, by English speakers who don't know how to pronounce Slavic words, is von Tomid gewen herumgeringelt. It was always surrounded von große Wälder, by great forests, was haben ihr gegeben, which gave it a eponym von Abgeschlossenheit, a appearance of being cut off, Abgeschlossenheit, on the dark of being cut off, isolated, in the dortige Teishavim, and the residents there, gegeben a Gefühl, gave one a feeling von Isbeutetus, of solitude, und mit dem Lubavitch gemacht, and with Lubavitch they made for an Anziehungspunkt, for a attraction point, for Menschen, was haben gewollt sein, for people who wanted to be mit sich allein, with themselves alone, und neunt zum Obersten und sein Yetzira, and close to God and His creation. Das ist Take die Ursach. This is really the reason, was so viel verborgene Tzadikim, why so many hidden Tzadikim haben verbunden sehr gerel, tied up their lot mit Lubavitch, with Lubavitch, und haben auf ihr gelegt sehr chesem, and placed on it their seal, schaffendig dem Eindruck, creating the impression, für die, was seinen bekannt mit der Gor weiter, before those who became familiar with the later Vergangenheit, the later the latecomers, you could call them. Und mit der same Anstehung and with the very development von Lubavitch, of the town of Lubavitch, wie die Stadt wollt gewen mehr. Legende, so that how the town became more legend, wie Wirklichkeit than reality. A Zauberstadt, a magic city, mit Zaubermenschen, with magical people, verstellendig mit sich, and introduced with itself, inspiring an inspirational und fantasierlich and fantasiereizendig and a charming capital chapter in Yiddish Leben, in Jewish life. These are very advanced words, most of which are not in daily use. Therefore, I have to read them slowly. Thank you very much, and God bless, and hopefully my next lesson will be not so far in the future as this one was from my previous one. Thank you, and God bless.